Hello and welcome to another episode. This is episode 8 of Learning to Play Through Play, where we play through EVE Online, learning the mechanics of the game as we go. I am Amoni Panala, and today we're going to be talking about events. Now, we're still working our way through the epic arc Bloodstained Stars. Did I mention just how long this epic arc is? Yeah, epic arcs can be long, and this one is no exception. So, we are going to talk about events today because after downtime, as of recording, Capsuleer Day is starting, and that's pretty exciting. So I thought it would be very timely for us to talk about events. Events basically coincide with big real world holidays, and don't ask me why it's these ones. I think one of them is pretty obvious, or two of them are pretty obvious, and one of them is not so obvious. Those are Crimson Harvest, which comes around Halloween, kind of just goes through the whole month of October. Then there's the Winter Nexus, which happens kind of all throughout December and covers Christmas, Winter Solstice, New Year. The next one is Capsuleer Day, which happens around the anniversary of EVE's public launch. This is a month long event that sort of celebrates EVE, all things EVE, and the players and the devs and all that great stuff. So, usually that's going to be spring. EVE went public in May, in early May. So, now, why do events matter? Every MMO has events. And now, increasingly, with the model of live service becoming pretty standard for a lot of games, it is not uncommon for events to be happening in games that are not MMOs. And something that makes me want to rip my hair out about most games now because I hate the live service model. But anyways, we'll get to it. Things about events that make them exciting. There's some major changes to the game. There are daily login rewards. This is the thing that you're going to notice right off the bat. When you log in, you're going to be given some things depending on whether you're Omega or Alpha. If you're Omega, you're going to get two things. If you're Alpha, you're going to get one thing. What that is depends on the day, but it's going to be skins, cerebral accelerators, evermarks, skinner materials, SP, and boosters, right? Depending on what day it is and what you're going to get. Now, awards, the login rewards get better throughout the event. So later in the month, if you've been logging in every day, your rewards are going to be a lot better. And logging in every day just to be able to get that free SP is usually a smart idea, even if you don't have time to play on that specific day. If you can just take 5 minutes to log in and claim your daily login rewards, that is kind of a big deal. That SP is not small. Towards the end of the event, you may want to consider getting Omega because you can claim all the rewards that you missed while you were Alpha retroactively. This is a thing that's pretty common in live service games where you have like a battle pass or something like that. Works a similar way here. If you pay for Omega towards the end of the event, you will get all the rewards that you missed. Omega rewards that you would have gotten logging in every single day. Another exciting thing is that there are going to be event specific sites. These are going to be combat sites. There's also going to be data and relic sites. Sometimes there will be like mining or other types of sites that you can do that are not combat related. And that's to sort of get everybody, right? Because not everybody wants to shoot at rats. Not everybody likes that. And some people just want a slightly more chill experience. And so usually it's a combat site and a data or relic site, and you can pick between the two, whatever is your speed. Completing these sites is going to give you some loot. It's going to have Usually it's event-specific loot, so it's going to be skins, it's going to be cerebral accelerators, and it's going to be boosters that are all tied to the event. With Capsuleer Day, one of the fun things that you can get is you can get skins from previous Capsuleer Days, and it's one of the only times that you can get those skins. So it's pretty exciting chance for you to be able to pick up some skins. If you missed some from a previous year and you really want to get them, you might be able to get them by completing sites during Capsuleer Day. Now, you also are going to make progress in an event tracker. So each site that you do is going to give you points towards a event-wide tracker. And when you reach milestones in that event tracker, you are going to be awarded even more stuff. So that's also going to include skins, SP, cerebral accelerators, boosters, skinner materials, and all that good stuff. So where do you find these sites? Well, they can usually be found in every part of space, right? HiSec, LowSec, NullSec, JSpace. I don't think you can find them in Pochven. Somebody let me know if you can find them in Pochven. I don't think so, but let me know. Because I've actually never, now that I think about it, I don't think I've looked in Pochven to see if the event sites spawn in there. Usually they're going to be in every part of space except maybe Pochven. The rewards are going to be better in LowSec, NullSec, and Wormhole space. They're also going to be harder in those same areas of space. My personal experience is that LowSec tends to be the most challenging, so be aware of that. Just slightly more challenging than NullSec or Wormhole space, but definitely the most challenging of them all. Sites in HiSec are going to have the smallest rewards, and they are also the most fiercely competed for. You will find people, like several different people, fighting over the same site, trying to get the loot, trying to get their event tracker points. Like, it's truly a wild time in HiSec during these events because people just go bonkers trying to get all these sites. More often than not, what will happen is that you will not be able to get sites in HiSec. You will have to go out of your way to find sites if you are trying to stay in HiSec. So there's a challenge there if you are trying to stay in HiSec. But honestly, I wouldn't stay in HiSec. I would go to NullSec. I would go to Wormhole space. I would go to LowSec. If you are just starting out and HiSec is all you can do, I would find some quiet HiSec where nobody else is. Find some place that's really out of the way. Maybe like a HiSec island, a little HiSec system or group of systems that's surrounded by LowSec. Maybe just hang out in there and run sites. But yeah, if you try to run HiSec sites near the trade hubs, near Amar, Jita, Heck, Renz, Ordo Dixie, you're going to have a bad time. The other thing to be aware of is avoid suspect baiters. Now, suspect baiters are people who intentionally do something to make themselves become suspect. Once they are suspect, they're going to blink orange. Their icons are going to blink orange on your overview. That means that they are someone you can shoot in HiSec without getting in trouble. Doing so means that they can also fight you. Once you engage them, they can fight back. The reason it is called bait, the reason they are called baiters, is because they are trying to trick you into starting a fight that you can't actually win. They are usually flying something that they know is going to beat your ship. And the way they know this is that pretty much 9 times out of 10, if you are running sites, it does not matter how good your ship and your fit are. A PvE ship will lose to a PvP ship every time, like almost every time, because they are designed to do different things. They have been set up to do different things. And that is not because your ship sucks, it's just set up to do something different. And PvP ships are designed to blow up other player ships. So be aware of that. If you see someone, you know, jump into your site and they're blinking orange, don't shoot them, and be aware because they might also be there to try and steal your loot. That is a thing that happens. So avoid suspect baiters and watch your stuff. Honestly, if somebody is blinking orange and they jump into my site, I'm probably just gonna leave if I can. I just don't want to mess with that. I don't want anything weird going on. Now, the first couple days of an event are kind of a feeding frenzy. Everyone is going to be scrambling to try and find sites and run them so they can figure out how they work. They are going to be trying to get as much loot as they can. Because what happens after the first day or two is CCP is going to nerf the sites. And it's usually because the sites are really, really hard. They give out way too many good things, way too much good loot, like the really good loot, right? And it's funny because there was a year, I think it was like 2 years ago, where they were giving out implants, and these implants are normally very expensive. After the first couple days of the event, the market just tanked because these implants were now super saturated. Like everybody was running the sites to get these implants, and the market just for a couple days had just tanked because of this. So very funny to see that. Very funny that the market just accurately reflected what was going on in the game. So those first couple days can be really, really wild, really, really busy. Lots of people start playing the game again. A lot of people who don't play very often might log in specifically during events to get all the cool event loot. That's fun. First couple days are usually going to be absolutely bonkers wild. Now, the trade off is, as I mentioned before, the trade-off is that these sites can sometimes be wildly imbalanced. They can be really hard in ways that CCP did not intend for them to be hard. I remember one year, I think it was the same year that the implants were being given out at way too high a rate. The sites were so hard that people were getting their ships reimbursed because they kept losing their ships to the sites and not being aware of just not being able to complete them. And I will say that ships that you have for one event, oftentimes with a little tweaking, will be enough to run the sites for other events. Another thing about events is this is oftentimes this is when big sales happen. So there's usually sales on Omega Time, packs, skins, and or other things like Plex. Keep your eyes open because usually this is when big sales happen. And I want to remind you, I know it was just last week that I hit this really, really hard to the point of maybe some exhaustion. Do not spend your rent money on Eve. Please be conscious, be mindful. Don't do anything stupid with your money just because of the sales that come up. The sales may not happen on day one of the event. They might come like middle of the event. Sometimes there are sales, like the sales get progressively better throughout the event. So just keep your eye out for those if you're interested in getting some sales. Always keep in mind, like be careful, be responsible, and know that these event sales are going to come around again at the next event, right? And there's also going to be the quarterly sales, right? Just be really gentle with yourself and don't do anything irresponsible, okay? We've talked about the major events, right? And that's, those are the ones that everybody remembers. There's also minor events. These are things that usually also coincide with holidays, but they're usually more culturally specific. Now, you might say to me, but Moni, people don't celebrate Halloween outside of, like, that's a very American holiday. And you'd be right. Like, I don't know. I have to imagine that CCP just saw Halloween knowing, about American Halloween and thinking like this is the perfect theme for our, like, we can do the Crimson Harvest, which is all about my homeboys, the Blood Raiders versus Tetramon. You know, it's just one of those things, like it's weird like that. But the minor events, there are two that I know of off the top of my head, the two that are most obvious, and one of them is actually new. I was kind of surprised to see it. So one of them was the Chinese New Year, right? That's one that's been around for a few years now at least. Then there was also this year, there was St. Patrick's Day, which kind of kind of dumbfounded by that one, honestly. Like, okay, I guess. The minor events are, I call them minor because they're not nearly as big as these other events. They don't have event specific sites, they don't have daily login rewards or anything like that. Usually what these minor events have is there will be sales, there will be event specific packs that you can buy, and there will be skins that you can buy. And these are not like big things, right? Definitely not as big as the three main events. If you like this video, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video or any of my videos with your friends. Until next time, fly dangerously.